Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of Above It All, the show where I bring you things that I feel like are relatively important. President, if you know, the so-called President of the United States, the loser of the popular vote in the 2016 election, is talking about sending troops, police, sheriffs to polling stations. What could possibly go wrong? So let's check this out.
My question to you then is, are you going to have poll watchers? Are you going to have an ability to monitor to avoid fraud and cross-check whether or not these are registered voters, whether or not there's been identification to know that it's a real vote from a real American?
We're going to have everything. We're going to have sheriffs, and we're going to have law enforcement, and we're going to have, hopefully, U.S. attorneys, and we're going to have everybody and attorney generals. But it's very hard. I mean, you have some of these states sending them out, like Nevada, where they don't even have to check the signature, so anybody can sign it. New Jersey just sent it out where the governor, as I understand it, just signed an executive order. Didn't even go through the legislature to get it done. And nobody's ever heard of anything like this. So they're going to be sending out 51 million ballots to people. They have no idea why it's coming, who it's going to. Unfortunately, they may have a very good idea, the people sending them. They may send them to all Democrat areas, not to Republican areas, as an example. Could be the other way, too, but I doubt it. So it's a very serious problem. And, you know, the other thing, a lot of times you don't even have to send it back until after the election. So on November 3rd, the evening, like we're used to sitting home and hearing Trump won the election, what a great thing. And you saw how happy Hillary's people were. They were thrilled when I won. You saw that. That's one of the all-time
I do
classics.
remember. I got an emergency call. Call into Fox now.
John, remember during the debate when she asked me very strongly, well, will you support the decision of the voters? And I'm looking at her, and she didn't support it. She still doesn't get it.
This is okay. That was a little long there at the end. But again, this whole thing, Donald Trump's whole thing is he wishes he could run against Hillary Clinton again. Hillary Clinton is garbage. She's trash. She's a dumpster fire. There's fucking shit on my glasses, so give me a sec. But like this whole thing where he's just like in stasis mode, 2016, and that's like all of these MAGA dudes, like they're all pretending like they're eternally stuck in 2016, like it's just, they stopped accepting new information on like November fucking 9th or whatever, like a couple days after the election, and then they're like, alright, I'm going to not accept any new information. Everything that I've learned so far is going to stay in my brain, and nothing new will come in. And it's ridiculous. Like, this is why you still get, like, people going like, oh, why do you support polls? Didn't you learn from 2016? When, like, the poll is about, like, how many Americans are satisfied with their job or something. It's like, what? What does, like, the 2016 Hillary versus Trump poll have to do with, like, some sort of grand poll on if Americans are satisfied with their work? Like, what? But again, these people are fucking freaks, okay? They're stuck in, like, some weird, like, time loop. It's like some fucking horror sci-fi show for these people. But now on to the fucking actual meat of this conversation here, is that he's threatening to send law enforcement to polling stations. So I got a little thing from The Hill here. And Trump's pledge to send law enforcement to the polls comes after he and his allies have repeatedly claimed that mail-in voting will open the election up to fraud, despite a lack of evidence. In recent weeks, the president has questioned whether the results of the election will be accurate with mail-in voting amid the coronavirus pandemic. In addition, White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany would not say on Wednesday whether the president would accept the election results if he wasn't declared the winner. Trump also told Fox News Sunday last month that he would wait and see the results before determining if he would accept them. Trump told supporters this week, the only way we're going to lose this election is if the election is rigged. 9 states and Washington, D.C. are participating in universal mail-in voting, the New York Times has reported. So again, this is just like, it's bizarre, it's strange, it's weird. Like this whole thing where they're living in an alternate universe. And again, okay, let's take this premise for granted. Okay, the mail-in system, let's say, all right, We'll accept it. We'll meet halfway. It's open to fraud. Okay, let's just throw that out there for the sake of argument. Does that justify slowing down all of the USPS? Does that justify removing mail sorting machines from the USPS? Does that justify like sending cops to polling stations? Like what? Like okay, so if mail-ins are going to be maybe fraudulent, why would you send cops to voting stations? Like what? Those are two different issues. So again, like these people are just thinking like, "Oh, yeah, this is why I've been saying this." I do think that the most likely scenario here, and anything can happen, of course, but I think the most likely scenario is that Biden will win this election, and it will take weeks to figure out who the winner is. In those weeks, Donald Trump and his supporters are going to have a lot of violent outbursts. And so I also think that this is executive order that he did. I also think that is very problematic as well, because what he's doing is he's having a rent or an eviction moratorium that expires during his lame duck session, which means if he loses the election, he's not going to help anyone. He's just going to say, get fucked, Biden, and just leave the fucking shit in shambles for the next month. Or if he wins, that's his form of extortion. All right, you reelected me. Now we'll give you a little something something here. Okay, this is extortion. And again, this is just bizarre. It's strange. It's weird. There's so many different conspiracy theories converging at once. Mail-ins are fraudulent, but also people are going to not be able to go to the polls because there's going to be armed gangsters there preventing them from voting. And then also Hillary Clinton is still somehow relevant in the year 2020. And then also, like, it's just like, what the hell is wrong with these people? But again, they're dullards. They're like bizarre, like weirdos, like these Republicans. Like they're just strange. And again, they stopped accepting new information in like the second week of November of 2016. Like, so that's why, again, I make videos sometimes where I'm like, okay, 25% of Americans have self-reported that they're depressed. Oh, why are you trusting the polls? Didn't you learn from 2016? Don't trust the polls. And it's like seriously, it's just so goddamn stupid. But again, what are you going to expect from Republicans? They're dullards. They're just dumb. They're not bright. They're just really stupid fuckers. So I don't know. This is going to be a disaster. I live in North Carolina. I might just vote in person. I might vote early. I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll decide that when the time comes. We got a few more months to think about it. But at the same time, this is horrifying. This is really scary. Like, this whole thing of like, oh, why are you calling everyone fascist? There's no such thing as Nazis. The alt-right doesn't exist. Yet, Trump is sending armed guards to polling stations. This is like a meme that they did in Shameless. I think it was like a couple seasons ago, where they had armed guards at polling stations to deter black people from voting, and that was like tongue-in-cheek satire, right? So like it's just we're at this point where like, and Donald Trump is taking House of Cards like fucking episodes into like he's like raiding FEMA shit to like fucking fund like fucking coronavirus stuff when like they just printed $3.5 trillion a couple months ago, so it's all bunk. Like again, this is so bizarre. And again, you've got this sect of Republicans who think they're counterculture. Oh yeah, I am on the team of the president. Look at me. I'm so counterculture. Like, bro, what? Like, you're marching in lockstep with the most powerful person in the country and you think you're a counterculture? Bro, come on, man. That's embarrassing. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is definitely pretty horrifying. If you have anything else you want to add, feel free to leave a comment. And I'll see y'all again in another vid. Bye-bye.